All right. We're back. Thank you for waiting through the song. Of course, I probably squeezed it together using editing. All right, Jonas is safely tucked away in bed. The girls are safely tucked away in bed, and Michelle is not here. She's upstairs. But she's fully aware of... I'm doing something I never expected to do. I'm actually going to show my child an R-rated film. I'm a firm believer in being the gatekeeper for my home when it comes to entertainment. Some say I'm a little too strict. Sometimes it's my son who says I'm a little too strict. But I'm a firm believer in, not feeding too much garbage to my kids, for the most part. But I have a tradition every Labor Day weekend. And this tradition has continued on for a number of years for me. And it's to watch the film Stand By Me on that weekend, either on Labor Day itself or sometime that weekend, because the movie is set on a Labor Day weekend. But anyway, it's set on a Labor Day weekend, and it's a coming of age story starring 4 young boys. And I think the biggest issue I have with the film is the language. The language is rough. There's a lot of cursing. But thematically, if I could find a version that's cleaned up, it'd be great. Because other than that, other than a few words that are a little rough, it is predominantly a PG-13 film. And after watching Stranger Things with Josiah over the summer, I thought, why not show some of the things that sort of inspired it to get an idea of, those guys were basically cribbing from movies like this when it comes to stuff and loyalty and conflict. Although there's stuff.
I get to watch this and like the Goonies and Alien. No,
Goonies may happen too. I may actually watch that with Jonas as well. Mm-hmm. I have to think about that because that movie's rated PG, but it was pre-PG-13 era, so it's more of a PG-13 film. I have to really think about it. Maybe watch it again, see if it's really appropriate. But anyway, look at that. You see the cover. What do you think it's about, Josiah?
4 kids doing, going, I don't know what the direct word is, but, it's 4 friends, it's the last week of summer for them, so they're, trying to make the best of it, I guess, I don't know.
Okay. So, I'm going to tell you a little bit about this movie without spoiling anything. It came out in August of 1986, August 22nd of 1986, so just a little bit over 30 years ago. That time in my life, I was getting ready to move to Canada. My mom was chasing a boyfriend, and I ended up in Canada for a few months. And I didn't see this movie until probably about 1988. And and I was young. I was 11 when I saw this movie. So, in August of 1986, let me give you an idea of what was going on in entertainment at that point. There were some of the most popular movies out at that time were Howard the Duck.
Wait, isn't that... What's that movie rated?
It's not appropriate for kids. It's rated PG, but there's a scene in there that I don't appreciate, so I totally don't even deal with it.
Isn't it Marvel's first movie, though?
It maybe their first major film. George Lucas produced it, and it completely flopped the box office. It did horribly at the box office. Transformers the movie, which ruined a lot of childhoods 30 years ago. I remember going to school later on. Adam Goldberg is one. I remember going to school, I think, and someone had said, did you know Optimus Prime totally died in that movie? I'm like, no, Optimus could never die. Well, yeah, he did. Anyway, and The Fly, which I think is funny. I think they're actually remaking The Fly.
What is The Fly?
It's a remake of a horror film from the 50s starring Vincent Price. This one stars Jeff Goldblum.
A horror movie named The Fly.
Yeah, it's gross. It's rated R. Don't worry, you're not watching it. Number one song of in that week was "Papa Don't Preach" by Madonna. Closely followed by number two was Peter Cetera's Glory of Love, which is the theme song from one of my favorite movies of the 80s, Karate Kid Part 2. So that was going on in the entertainment world. Other than that, it was the 80s, and the 80s were good. This movie, however, is not set in the 1980s. And with that being said, I can hear music in the other room on my microphone. So I'm going to shut this off. I'm going to pop on my headphones with the controller on the PlayStation, and Josiah and I are going to experience Stand By Me.
Every day, it's getting closer, going faster than a roller coaster. Love like yours will surely come my way. Hey, hey, hey. Every day, it's getting faster. Everyone said go ahead and ask her. Love like yours will surely come my way. Hey, hey, hey. Every day seems a little longer. Every way, love's a little stronger. Come what may, do you ever long for true love from me? Every day, it's getting closer, going faster than a roller coaster. Love like yours will surely come my way. Hey, hey, hey. Every day seems a little longer.
All right, we have just finished. The credits are rolling now on Josiah's first. I want your reaction. What's your gut reaction to the movie? What feelings do you have after seeing it?
It was like seeing what it was like living as a kid a long time ago. So it was cool to see the differences between now and then, and the similarities between now and then. Because of course, they didn't have anything other than a radio, and we have we have computers that are more powerful that can completely destroy how powerful it is. It's a smartphone, like an iPhone 4, is like 400 times more powerful than a computer they had back
There were no
in the
computers
80s,
back then.
in the 80s. And then they didn't have computers back then, so but then there's still, you can see that there are similarities between now and then.
Now, outside of all that stuff, what about the characters? Was there any character that really stuck out to you that you either related to or anything like that you felt like was a reflection of you at all, or anything that you felt was like you?
No.
What about
really.
people that you just you didn't get? Did you not understand some of the characters in the movie, or no?
Not after you explained why. I always forget everyone's names. I have the IMDb page.
What character are you talking about?
1 second.
Well, it's audio, so I can't sit silent.
I know. So there's Gordy was the main character, right?
Yep. He was the narrator. Gordy was the narrator.
The kid that was in the white shirt.
Yep, Chris Chambers. Yep.
And then Teddy was the kid with the glasses, and then Vern was the
heavier kid.
The heavier kid.
Yeah. So,
once you explained why Teddy was standing in front of a moving train, that made sense.
Yeah.
But other than that, I pretty much understood.
Well, the movie's based on a novella, which is just a longer short story, a shorter novel called The Body by Stephen King. And I was telling him as we watched it, I said, this is not this is one of the few instances where I'll let you watch the movie without reading the book. Mostly because the book kind of goes into details that are unnecessary. And also because it's a little... I don't want to say the movie's better than the book. I think the book has its merits. But the movie, for me, has a special place because of the movie itself has a special place because of watching it from a thematic sense, with the themes of the movie, themes of friendship and the themes of loyalty. There's a lot of stuff going on in this movie. Themes of fatherhood, family, things like that. One other thing that I noticed was there was each boy had a distinct identity. You had Vern, who was the kind of...
Cowardly?
Huh?
Cowardly? That's not the word they use in the movie, but cowardly.
Cowardly is one way of putting it. He was also a little dim. He didn't think things through. He was not very smart. And cars going by, I could hear them on the mic. Vern was like the dim one, the guy who who wasn't really thinking. He was sort of comic relief, things like that. And then you had Teddy, who was little. He was the fiercely loyal kid who was a little bit off, right? Mm-hmm. And he sort of had this... I'm not sure. There was this love for his father, despite everything his dad was to him.
Like, he burned his freaking ear on his stove. Like...
Yeah, he had this weird loyalty to his dad. Then you had Chris Chambers, who was the thug, but he was not really a thug. He was just, his family name had been, he was like that rebel because it was supposed to be. It was like the family business. I can hear that on the mic. Oh, sorry. That it was like his family business to be like that. And then you have Gordy, who was like the invisible boy, and you look at their relationships with their fathers, they're all completely different. Vern doesn't really have one, doesn't show, they don't talk about his dad much, but then Chris's dad beats him and is a drunk, right?
Yeah.
Teddy's dad obviously was not all there, and then you had Gordon's dad, who was abusive but in a different way, and being distant from his son.
He wasn't, like, abusive as in, like, physical, but he was, like, abusive as in, like, he'd rather have his older brother than him. Yeah.
That hurts to listen to watch, to see that kind of thing happen,
Mm-hmm.
And there was also this thing about the, that, I'm trying to think, there was something else that came up in the movie that I really... when it comes to the language, how I talked about how this movie could really be rated PG-13 if it weren't for the language. I never really thought about swearing. I've cursed before. I've written stories with cursing in them, and I don't use it. I've completely eliminated them and stuff like that. And I'm trying to figure out